A Beast in Form, Human in Heart, Part 1, The Scent of Fear. The scent of fear had a unique quality, subtle, but unmistakable. Most people couldn't sense it. Sophia Carter could. Right now, it poured off Dr. Westfield, who stood trembling against the cold lab wall, eyes wide with terror. Please, he stammered. We were just following orders. Sophia stalked toward him, her movements smooth, predatory. Her heightened senses picked up the hammering of his heart, the adrenaline flooding his veins. The predator within her, the one they created, purred in delight. Following orders, she echoed, her voice laced with a low, guttural growl. It no longer sounded entirely human. Is that what you told yourself when you strapped me to that table? Blood from her earlier breakout streaked across her pale skin in jagged crimson lines. She looked almost human, but not quite. Her feline features shimmered under the lab's harsh lights. Orange eyes. Slit pupils. Sharp teeth that flashed as she bared them. We can fix this, Westfield pleaded. The changes aren't permanent. You don't have to stay like this. Still what? She snapped. Still turn me into your obedient little chimera? Still erase what's left of my humanity? She leaned in close, inhaling his scent. I don't think so. 72 hours earlier. Sophia Carter rushed through the sterile halls of Helix Dynamics, her lab coat flaring behind her. At 32, she was one of the youngest and most promising geneticists in the company's bioevolution division. It was her 3-year work anniversary. Not that anyone was celebrating. Not with deadlines looming and director chambers breathing down everyone's necks. Dr. Carter, a voice called out. It was Patrick Chen, her exhausted research assistant. Walk with me, she said, not breaking stride. Emergency meeting, Patrick muttered. Defense Department's getting restless. They always do, Sophia replied. It's the instability, isn't it? Patrick nodded grimly. Subjects are getting more aggressive. Cognition's falling off fast. They were talking about the Chimera Project, Helix's classified program to splice animal DNA into humans, creating enhanced soldiers. Sophia had joined believing she'd be healing people, regenerative therapy, enhanced endurance. Instead, she found herself helping build monsters. Inside the conference room, the mood was tense. Director Chambers stood tall at the front, flanked by genetic readouts and brain scans. Dr. Carter, she said coolly. Glad you could join us. We're moving to Phase 3, Chambers announced. The room went still. Human trials. Ready or not? Sophia pushed back. Director, the subjects are unstable. Their brains are deteriorating. Which is why we're shifting approach, Chambers replied. Our clients want more than soldiers, they want infiltrators. She tapped the screen. A simulation appeared. A human-feline hybrid. Subtle. Elegant. Deadly. We're calling it Project White Fang. White Tiger DNA. Enhanced strength. Human appearance. All built on Sophia's own neural stabilization research. And the first test subject? Michael Reed. Sophia's boyfriend. The price of love. Michael had gone silent 3 weeks ago, supposedly for a job. Now Sophia knew the truth. He was in sub-level 5, being prepped for transformation. Her protests were ignored. She was locked in her lab under armed guard. If she didn't deliver results, Michael would suffer, or worse. For 3 days, Sophia worked without sleep, searching for a solution to keep human minds intact during transformation. On day 4, Patrick snuck in. They're operating on him tomorrow. Sophia felt her world tilt. I've been modeling something new, she whispered. A way to preserve consciousness, if we introduce the DNA slowly and use emotional anchoring. Strong emotions? Patrick asked. Yes. Love. Rage. Loyalty. Something primal to fight the animal instincts. What if, you go first? Patrick offered, hesitating. You and Michael are connected. You could guide him. Anchor each other. It was reckless. Insane. But, it might work. Into the beast. That night, Sophia injected herself with the modified serum. She felt the change almost instantly, heightened senses, faster reflexes, but her mind stayed clear. The love she felt for Michael anchored her. Sneaking past 2 checkpoints, she reached sublevel 5. But 2 guards stood in her way. So she short-circuited the security panel nearby. Alarms blared. Guards ran. Sophia slipped through the door. Inside were containment cells. Reinforced. Silent. One of them held Michael. Michael, she whispered. Guided by instinct, Sophia moved down the sterile corridor, drawn to the last door. She could feel him, his presence tugged at her heightened senses, sharp and alien now, but still unmistakably hers. She swiped the stolen keycard. The door slid open with a soft hiss. Michael was huddled in the corner, knees to his chest. He looked up, disbelief flickering in his wide eyes. Sophia? How? He stopped, staring. What happened to you? I used their own research against them, she said, pulling him up gently. We don't have much time. They're planning to start the procedure on you in a few hours. Full DNA integration. Michael shuddered. They've been prepping me for weeks. Running tests. Saying I was almost ready. His gaze locked with hers. Your eyes. She knew what he saw. Her irises glowed faintly gold, pupils narrowing into vertical slits. I can control it, she said, though she wasn't sure how much longer that would be true. But we need to move. Now. Just as they stepped into the corridor, a second alarm screamed through the facility, different from the one she triggered earlier. Security breach in Sector 5. All personnel initiate lockdown procedures, a mechanical voice blared. They've noticed I'm gone, Michael said. Or they've detected what I've become, Sophia replied grimly. Either way, we head to the main lab. I need to access the central server, get everything. And then? Then we expose them. And burn this place to the ground. They moved fast, ducking into utility closets and darkened rooms as security patrols swept past. Sophia's senses were on overdrive, footsteps before they echoed, heartbeats through walls. But something deeper stirred within her. Primal. Predatory. The more her body adapted, the harder it was to keep control. But she kept going. For Michael. They were nearly at the lab when they turned a corner, and froze. Director Chambers stood ahead, flanked by 4 armed guards. Dr. Carter, Chambers said smoothly. So you've made yourself the first successful test subject. And compromised our primary candidate. How disappointing. A growl rumbled in Sophia's chest, low, inhuman. Your project ends tonight, Chambers. On the contrary. Chambers raised her hand. Seize them. Carefully. We need her alive, she's remarkably stable. The guard stepped forward. Run, Sophia whispered to Michael. Get to the lab. Download everything. Then she launched. They fired, but she was already in motion, blurring past the tranquilizer darts, her body a perfect fusion of instinct and intelligence. The first guard's wrist snapped beneath her strike. The second she hurled into the third. A dart grazed her shoulder, but her metabolism burned through the sedative like smoke in wind. Chambers stepped back, fumbling in her coat. She pulled a small device, one red button. Stand down, Dr. Carter, or I trigger the neurotoxin we implanted in Mr. Reed. Sophia froze. You're bluffing, she growled. Am I? Chambers' finger hovered. We have other candidates. Are you ready to gamble with his life? For one heartbeat, the predator in Sophia screamed for violence. Then she saw Michael, slipping through a side door behind Chambers. Distraction. Smart boy. What did you think would happen here? Sophia asked, keeping Chambers' focus on her. She let the transformation show, her nails lengthening, canines sharp, faint stripes crawling over her skin. Did you think your perfect weapon would obey you after everything you did to her? Chambers was transfixed, eyes wide with scientific wonder. Astonishing. The expression is stable, yet enhanced. Are you retaining cognitive function? Emotional regulation? Sophia bared her teeth. Strong enough. She leapt, not at Chambers, but straight up, smashing through the drop ceiling and vanishing into the crawlspace above. Find her. Chambers shrieked. And find Reed. Sophia crawled silently through the ducts. Below, she could hear Michael working in the lab. She dropped in moments later, landing in a crouch. Michael flinched at the sight of her. Your face. I know. She felt the changes, bone and sinew reshaped. Her mind was still hers, just sharper, hungrier. How long until the download's done? 3 minutes. But we're locked in. No way out. There is, she said, moving to the environmental panel. I studied the blueprints when I joined. There's a tunnel system beneath the complex. Access is behind here. What if they follow? Let them, Sophia said, ripping open the panel to reveal a dark shaft. I'll handle it. The download chimed. Michael secured the drive. If we make it, what happens to you? I don't know. She took his hand. But I'm still me. That's what matters. Shouts echoed outside. The door burst open. Dr. Westfield entered, flanked by guards. Dr. Carter, please, he said. Chambers wants you alive. Sophia stepped between them and the shaft. You know what you're doing is wrong, Westfield. Science requires sacrifice. This isn't science. It's weapons development. He signaled the guards. Their guns weren't darts this time. You can still reverse it, he said. We can bring you back. Sophia paused. Could she? Then she remembered the data, the failures. The lies. No, she said softly. You already took everything from me. My life now is mine to choose. The guards fired. Too slow. She moved like lightning, disarming one, slamming the other into a console. Westfield backed away, panicked. Please, I was just following orders. Sophia grabbed him by the throat, lifted him. Did you tell yourself that when you strapped Michael to the table? He wasn't to be mindless, he'd be loyal. Controlled. She saw red. Her grip tightened. Then, Sophia. Michael's voice echoed from below. They're coming. She dropped Westfield. Here's what's going to happen, she said, voice low and guttural. We're taking everything. By morning, the world will know what you've done. Helix dynamics is over. She vanished down the shaft, following Michael into the tunnels. The forest swallowed her. Leaves brushed her skin. Branches whipped past. Her senses stretched outward, smelling, hearing, feeling everything. The adrenaline was still pumping, her body still humming with energy, but her mind remained sharp. Focused. She ran for miles before circling back. Just before dawn, she found Patrick's car parked under an abandoned overpass, half hidden behind a rusted-out truck. The engine was off. No movement. She crept forward, eyes scanning. Then the door opened. Michael stepped out, eyes wide the moment he saw her. Sophia. Before she could say anything, he pulled her into a tight embrace. She tensed, her skin still too warm, her muscles still half-primed to fight, but his heartbeat, solid and steady, grounded her. "You're okay," he whispered into her hair. "You got out." "Barely." She pulled back, eyes scanning him for injuries. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," he said. "Patrick drove like a maniac. He dropped me off here to lay low while he went to get us transport." Sophia nodded. "Good." Michael glanced down at the wound on her side. It was already closed, just a faint scar. "You're healing faster now." "It's accelerating," she admitted. "I can feel it, the changes. They're not slowing down." "Are you still you?" he asked quietly. Sophia looked at her clawed fingers, then back at him. "Yes. For now." He didn't flinch. Didn't look away. "Then that's enough." She almost broke right then. The fear, the pain, the guilt, it all crashed over her in a wave. But she didn't cry. Couldn't. Something deep in her biology had turned that faucet off. So instead, she leaned her forehead against his. "I got the data," he said after a moment. "Everything, videos, reports, patient logs, even the black budget files. Helix Dynamics can't hide anymore." "Then we hit them with everything," Sophia said. "Expose them. Burn them to the ground." Michael gave a tired smile. "One step ahead of you. Patrick knows people, journalists who don't scare easy, whistleblower networks. We're already moving it." Sophia breathed deep. "Good. Because they won't stop. Chambers said there are others, other programs, other companies. Then we take them down too." A pause. "You're not alone in this." Her throat tightened. "I don't want to lose myself, Michael. Then I'll help you remember who you are." The sun was rising now, pale gold light cutting through the mist. Sophia watched it with new eyes, clearer, sharper, painfully aware of everything. They had exposed Helix. But that was just the beginning. She wasn't just running anymore. She was hunting. Too fast for human reflexes to counter, Sophia kept her strikes non-lethal, breaking arms instead of necks, knocking guards unconscious rather than killing. But the animal inside her hungered for finality, for decisive ends. Every time, she had to pull herself back, to remember who she was fighting for, not just what she was fighting against. The fourth guard managed to fire, an actual bullet, not a tranquilizer. It grazed her side. Pain flared, hot and sharp. Instinct surged in response, primal and overpowering. For a moment, Sophia felt her human consciousness slipping beneath the rising tide of rage. "She's lost control," one of the remaining guards shouted. "Switch to lethal force." The word sliced through her fury like a scalpel. Lost control. That's what they expected. What the failed experiments had proven time and again. The animal takes over. The human drowns. "Not me," she thought fiercely. "I choose who I am." With monumental effort, she pulled back from the edge. She didn't silence the predator, she harnessed it. Directed it. Mind and instinct aligned in perfect sync. Calculated, deliberate. She disarmed the last two guards and sprinted down the tunnel, following Michael's scent. The bullet wound was already closing. She caught up to him at a sealed emergency exit. Bold red letters warned, "Alarm will sound." "They're right behind me," she panted, not from exertion, but from the battle to maintain control. "We have no choice." Michael nodded and pushed the door. Alarms blared. They burst into the cool night air, crossing the dim parking lot. Headlights flashed twice from a sedan parked in the shadows. "That's Patrick," she said, guiding Michael toward the car. They were almost there when floodlights snapped on, blinding white. A voice boomed through a loudspeaker. "Dr. Carter." Mr. Reed. You are surrounded. Surrender now. Sophia squinted against the glare, her enhanced eyes burning. Through the light, she spotted Chambers standing by an armored vehicle, flanked by a dozen armed guards. Get in the car, she whispered to Michael. Get that drive to the authorities. I'm not leaving you, he insisted. You have to. The evidence matters. It can stop them from doing this to anyone else. Patrick leaned out the window. Both of you, get in. Now. But Sophia knew they wouldn't make it. Not with that many guns. Not even with her speed. Take care of him, she told Patrick, turning to Michael. I'll find you. I promise. Before he could protest, she kissed him, brief, fierce, then turned and sprinted toward the security team. Not to attack. To draw fire. Dr. Carter is attempting to flee. Chambers barked. Subdue her. All weapons locked on Sophia. Perfect. She dodged the tranquilizer volley with supernatural agility, leaping over a concrete barrier. In her periphery, Patrick's car peeled out, vanishing into the dark. Let them go, Chambers ordered coldly. We have what we really want. Her eyes fixed on Sophia's position. Don't we, Dr. Carter? You can hear me, Chambers called out. Your transformation is remarkable. Beyond our wildest expectations. Sophia's skin prickled. In Chambers's eyes, this wasn't an escape. It was success. You've proven Project White Fang is viable. Cognitive stability, physical enhancement, perfection. You've made yourself the perfect weapon. I'm not a weapon, Sophia shouted back. Her voice sounded strange, deeper, with a low rumble. And I'm not your property. No. Then what are you, Dr. Carter? You're not human anymore. Look at yourself. Feel what's happening. The change is irreversible. You belong with us now. The words landed like blows. Maybe Chambers was right. Maybe this was the only place she'd ever be understood. But then Sophia's ears caught the distant wail of sirens, real law enforcement, finally closing in. You're stalling, she realized aloud. Trying to keep me here. Chambers's mask slipped. Last chance. Surrender, or we use force. You can't outrun us forever. Sophia took a breath. Centered herself. Watch me. She charged, not toward escape, but straight at Chambers. The guards fired. She moved like liquid shadow. In a blink, she was on Chambers, one hand around her throat, lifting the woman off the ground. Call them off, Sophia growled. Or I'll show you just how successful your experiment was. Chambers choked. Stand down, she wheezed. Hold your fire. The guards froze. Sophia backed toward the fence, using Chambers as a shield. The authorities will be here any minute. They'll see everything. Your illegal experiments. Your military contracts. Helix Dynamics is finished. You think exposing us will stop it? Chambers hissed. There are others. The military wants this. You and Reed, you're too valuable to be free. Then we'll keep running, Sophia said. And you better pray they find us before we find you. She scaled the fence in a single bound, still holding Chambers. At the top, she paused. Consider this a warning. Then she dropped Chambers to the pavement and disappeared into the trees.